Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bastard Review. This time around I'm looking at ECW's House Party 99. This event took place January 16th, 1999 in the ECW Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We start off the night with Danny Doring and Roadkill coming down to the Public Enemy's music, and they proceed to mock them and the fans, presumably because the Public Enemy were supposed to make their return at this show. Out comes Spike Dudley to save the day, and then we have a 2-on-1 handicap match between all three wrestlers. It's kind of odd that they chose Spike Dudley to come out. To my knowledge, he never even had any exposure to Public Enemy. I would have chosen someone that the audience would recognize as either an enemy or an ally of the tag team. The ending really didn't work for me. I'm not a big fan of 2-on-1 handicap matches, especially when the one wins. It's not believable. Okay, it's kind of believable if they win in a fluke victory, but this was anything but. A bad match and a bad way to start your show. I'm giving this a 4 out of 10. After that, Chris Chetti took on a newcomer to ECW, Steve Corino. Now this was before he had bleached his hair blonde and cut it short, so it was long brown hair. It was just so odd to see him with that kind of hairdo. I believe this was also Steve's very first match in ECW, and it was pretty adequate. Chris Chetti's already proven to me that he's a very good wrestler, so I knew that these two guys would be able to entertain me. And I love the way that Steve played to the crowd. He is just a heel through and through. It's just a role that he was born to play, and he plays it so well. Just a great way to introduce the audience to Corino, and a great match for him to start off on. I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. Up next we have Little Guido of the FBI taking on a luchador, Antifaz del Norte. This started out as an okay match, but at one point Tracy Smothers gets involved into the match, and instead of ending it in a disqualification, and there are disqualifications apparently because Joey Styles kept saying, "Why isn't the ref disqualifying Guido?" So that's admitting that there are disqualifications in ECW. But instead of that, for no foreseeable reason, Nova comes down to save Del Norte, and I guess it turns into a quasi-tag team for a few seconds, and then Del Norte gets the pin over Guido. It's just a weird ending. I didn't like it, and it doesn't serve any purpose. I could see if Del Norte and Nova team up afterwards and start a program with the FBI, but that doesn't happen. It's just a very poorly booked match in my opinion. But I'm going to be charitable and give it a 5 out of 10. Now this is more like it. Super Crazy takes on Yoshihiro Tajiri. This is the second time they faced each other. 6 days earlier at Guilty as Charged, they supposedly tore down the house, and that is something I definitely want to see. I will seek this video out. If I have to download it, if I have to buy it, I will. This sophomore match between them seems very adequate. My only gripe, is that it felt too short. I think if they were given a little bit more time to wow the crowd, it would have been more entertaining. They still managed to get in some really great moves. Tajiri did a beautiful Somerset Senton, and we also see the tarantula here. Now, I said in my CyberSlam video that was the first time we saw the tarantula. I am incorrect, and I retract that statement. Super Crazy gets a nicely done rolling inverted surfboard. It was just flawlessly done. He also does a beautiful Cradle Hurricane Rana. Just a lot of really nicely done high-flying moves. I'm really eager to see where they go with this rivalry, because both of these guys stick around in ECW for quite a while. So I know there's going to be stuff down the road that gets me giddy with anticipation. Dr. Scott! Janet! Rocket! I'm giving this match a 7 out of 10. Up next, Just Incredible takes on Tommy Dreamer. Lance Storm comes out, and they decide to make it a three-way dance. I know why Justin's involved, but I don't understand why Lance decides to get involved in this match, other than the fact that he's not on the card. For most of the match, Lance and Justin team up on Tommy, but there are instances where they have differences of opinion and attack each other, which is always entertaining. I'd probably say about 5 minutes in, Tommy introduces a ladder into the match, and things just get violent from there. There's some pretty good spots involving the ladder, stuff you've probably seen before, nothing really innovative, but this was an entertaining, hardcore three-way dance. I love the feud that Tommy and Justin have going on, and I'm eager to see where it goes. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. After that, Sabu and Rob Van Dam defend their ECW World Tag Team titles against Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney. Now, this was another short match. It was maybe 8 minutes, but it was an entertaining 8 minutes, and I enjoyed it very much. In the short amount of time they had, they did a lot of insane spots. RVD did a somersault planche off the top ropes into Balls, who was standing in the audience. And then RVD does Rolling Thunder while Sabu does a diving leg drop simultaneously onto Balls Mahoney. Seriously, Balls took such a beating in this match, and I feel so odd saying that sentence. It was a really entertaining match, but honestly, I think it should have been given a lot more time. At least 15 minutes. And since it wasn't, the ratings gotta reflect that. I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. Now, this is what I call a title match. What started out as Taz defending his title against Chris Candido turned into Taz defending his title against Shane Douglas when Shane came down and attacked Chris. Now, the story here is that days earlier, guilty as charged, Chris turned on Shane and cost him the title. So naturally, Shane was upset, and that led to what happened here. This was a really good title match. They fought all over the ECW arena. The fans were chanting back and forth between both wrestlers, but it did have a few things going against it. It was only 6 days after Taz won the title, so you kind of knew that he was going to retain. So there really wasn't the threat of him losing that title from Shane. At least I didn't pick up on that. There also weren't very many false finishes, and I think that hurt the match. But it did seem like both wrestlers gave it their all to entertain the crowd, and it definitely entertained me. I think the crowd thought that this might have been Shane's last match because at the end they kept saying, "Please don't go." He stuck around in ECW for at least until April, but I guess they knew that the writing was on the wall and that he was on his way out of ECW. If anything, this match felt like a passing of the torch from Shane to Taz, and I can imagine it was an emotional match for both parties involved. Definitely one of the best matches on this card. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. After that, Bubba Ray Dudley shoots to the crowd on the Public Enemy no-showing the event. If I was in the crowd, I would be definitely disappointed that they didn't show up. Up next, Skull Von Crush takes on somebody who premiered just days earlier at Guilty as Charged, Sid Vicious. I'm not going to rate this match because Sid wiped the floor with Crush. But I will say that I'm pretty sure Paul knew that Sid wasn't going to stay long in ECW because he didn't put him in any really major feuds or feed him anybody really significant in matches. Finally, we come to the main... Well, I could tell you what happens here, but I think it's something you have to see for yourself. Overall, ECW's House Party 99 should be a barely above average show. There are 3 average matches, 1 really good match, and an end segment that you have to see to believe. Honestly, the last 20 or so minutes is the best ending I have ever seen for a pay-per-view or show ever. And because of it, I'm knocking it up from a 6 to a 7 out of 10. It's that damn good. Thank you for listening. Please tune in again to another Bastard Review when I review another wrestling DVD in my collection or anything else that crosses my path.